Okay, so here is your homework help video for writing and solving systems of equations from word problems. We did the front of this worksheet together. The front had the problem with the football game, Shamario and his band members going tubing, and Jahir's rectangular patio. Okay, so the back of it. Let's start with number 4, Holiday's Chicken Shack. We've got Table 1 ordering 3 small plates to share and 2 drinks, and their bill came out to $12.85. Table 2 ordered 1 small plate to share and 2 drinks, and their bill came out to $8.95. So our end goal is to find the price for a drink and the price for a small plate. If you go to the end of the problem, the part with the question marks, you'll generally find very quickly, A, where am I going and what am I doing? And B, what are my variables? So my variables are price for a drink and price for a small plate. So X is the price of small plate. And let's let Y be the cost or the price of a drink. So something to think about, because we're looking for the price of something. Are decimals okay or not okay? They should be okay, because 2.35 means $2.35, for example, okay? Whereas if I was looking for the number of drinks ordered, 2.35 would not be a good answer. So it's just something to think about. I'm looking for prices, so at the end, if I end up with decimals, I'm okay with that. Okay, we're going to set up an equation for table 1. Let's see, what did table 1 order? 3 small plates, 3x, x is small plates, and means plus, 2 drinks, that's y, and their total was $12.85. For table 2, they ordered 1 small plate. The 1 is invisible if it's a coefficient. Coefficients of 1 are invisible. And 2 drinks. And their bill came out to $8.95. Now my system is all set up. Okay. Let's go ahead and solve it. Let's talk about, I'm not going to solve it with you because I want you to do that on your own. But let's at least talk about some strategies, some thoughts. Which method, because you do get to choose your method. Method 1, solving for y and graphing. That would mean that I would take both of these equations and separately solve them for y. Then you could put them in your handy-dandy online graphing calculator, the one I told you about in class today. Or you can use method 2, elimination. And elimination, remember, it involves you getting opposite coefficients on one of your variables and then adding the equations together. For me personally, I actually would prefer elimination here, because all I'd have to do is make sure I get, look at these 2's already match. My coefficients already match on my y's. Because of that, all I need is to get opposite signs here, maybe multiply one of these equations by a -1, and then I'd be ready to add. Or if you know same sign subtract, you can do that. Okay, so that would probably be the easiest for me. But if you decide to solve for y, go right ahead. For me, I would choose elimination. And once again, we already discussed that decimal answers are okay. So go ahead and attempt to solve that and see what it does. All right, number 5. Number 5 is the Me Tunes example. Uh-oh, I'm ripping my paper. Number 5 is the Me Tunes example. Number 5 is very similar to number 4. If you understood number 4, it's the same reasoning. It's the same type of equation. This is not one of our 5 types of equations that the special types that we learned yesterday. It's just your regular run-of-the-mill 8th grade equation. Pretty common sensey to set up. You've got the same situation here for number 5. The questions that I got during class were more about what should my variables be, because people weren't sure, you know, is Madison a variable? Is Serenity a variable? Is it the types of songs? So I'm going to help you there. I'm going to give you hints about the variables. MeTunes allows users to download individual songs or an entire album. So what are my two options? Individual songs or an entire album. All individual songs cost the same to download. All albums cost the same to download. Serenity, who is a girl, pays $14.94 to download 5 individual songs in one album. This is kind of like in problem 1, where it was talking about table 1 did this, and this was their total. Table 2 did this, and this was their total. It's going to be the same here. Serenity did this, and this was her total. Madison did this, and this was her total, okay? So we're going to have one Serenity equation and one Madison equation. And our variables, if you've noticed already, what keeps getting repeated, what two things do Serenity and Madison have in common that they're ordering? Individual songs and albums, entire albums. Now let's be a little more specific with that. Are we talking about the number of individual songs they've downloaded or the price thereof? Well, let's go to the bottom. Let's go to the last part, the part with the question mark. Remember, if you're not sure about your variables, go to the question mark, and then that'll help you. So how much does MeTunes charge to download a song? So how much is the question? So we're looking for money. And for the album as well, how much? We're looking for money for an album. So decimals, once again, decimal answers would be okay if they turned out to be decimals. Okay, because we are looking for money. Other than that, you should be good to go. If you understood number 4, number 5 is very similar. Number 6 is probably the most challenging problem that I assigned for homework. And there's a tiny little typo which could complicate things even further. We're not talking about 2 different people. I just forgot to change this person's name. It should be McDaniel. Okay, so it's the same person throughout this entire problem. McDaniel invested $2,000 in stocks and bonds. He split up his money some kind of way and put part of it in stocks and part of it in bonds. This year, the bonds paid 8%. I'm going to let my bonds represent X money. The money that he put in bonds, I'll let that represent X. The stocks, I'll let Y represent stocks. Money in stocks paid 6%. McDaniel received a total $144 in interest and dividends added up together by sitting on his couch and letting his money work for him. Smart guy. Okay, so McDaniel invested a total of how much money? Our first equation is going to be a total. It's kind of like a total number equation, but it's going to be a total money equation. Total money invested. How did he split up his investment? He did part of it in bonds, part of it in stocks, and that total was $2,000. Now, we've already used that number. We're never going to use it again. We don't recycle. Now we're going to use the rest of these digits, the rest of these numbers, the 8% interest on bonds and the 6% interest in stocks is going to add up to this total amount of interest, okay? So we're going to do an interest equation. And that'll be how much for bonds? 8%. You cannot use a straight percentage. You have to convert it to a decimal. How do we do that? Just like Beyonce, to the left, So 0.08. So 0.08 for bonds. The same, to the left, 0.06 for stocks. And my total interest and dividends received is $144. Now you're all set up. Okay? How could you solve this system? Well, for sure you could solve each one for Y. You could solve this one for Y very easily. Grab it, jump it, change the sign. Okay? That would then be solved for Y. Do the same one with that. That would work. Then you could use second trace intersect very easily, or your handy dandy online graphing calculator. If you'd like to do elimination, that would also be very easy because the coefficients here are 1. So if you just want to times, let's say, let's make the coefficients on X match. You could times the top equation by negative 0.08. Negative 0.08 times negative 0.08. Pump them all up equally, and then add them together. That would also be an option. Whatever works for you, but try it. Okay. Good luck.